So hello everyone, I'm glad that you're still watching the series and that you turned back to me for my third episode. And as you can see, I made a new character called Bank Helper, and I think I mentioned it in the video last time, is that it's really useful to have a bank alt in Classic WoW. And that partly has to do because you have so many things to gather and that you actually want to save because, well, they're just harder to get by. Or they're very expensive at the auction house, and well, money actually still had some value back then compared to now. So I made this character. It's already placed in Ogrimmar, as you can see. So I already went there and I checked with Dober. So I sent one mail from Dober to Bank Helper and sent one mail back to check if it's actually possible to do this with a level 1. So on retail this should be no problem, but on private servers you sometimes have this limit where your character needs to be, for example, at least level 5 before being able to send mails via the in-game system. So I checked it out and it works. So you will often see me actually run to a mailbox and send stuff over to Bank Helper. Bank Helper will so often collect these items that will be materials that are, for example, sold in the auction house that I'm not going to use myself. So for example, if I come across gold ore, I will send it to Bank Helper. And Bank Helper will then move it to the auction house and see what the prices are and put them on. I haven't really decided yet whether I will also show you this part. I might actually do, because then I can maybe explain a little bit about my own rules for putting things on the auction house. So what price do I choose, and also maybe to determine whether I'm actually eventually going to sell on the auction house. So often you will see me sending stuff over from Dober to Bank Helper, and once on Bank Helper I actually decide when seeing the price in the auction house that I'm actually not going to sell in the auction house. And there's also another part which Bank Helper is doing, and that's actually, for example, I got the herbalism skill now with the alchemy. At least that's what I picked up in the previous episode, and it could also happen that I'm just selling over some herbs, and once I log on Bank Helper I will just return the email so that I actually get it back on Dober. This gives me some extra room in my bag, which especially is nice because of a warlock with a soul charge, health stone, soul stone, etc. So it can really get full in my bag. So it is really helpful to just send over those couple of herbs and then return them so that I can just open them from the mill, so they're actually functional like an extra bag slot. And in addition, I can also use Bank Helper's bank to get some additional slots. So yeah, that's in short what Bank Helper is doing. And now I'll just log on to Dober and let's see where we left off, because it's been over a week since my last playtime. So let's figure out where I left him behind. I think we were where we left Defnel, and we moved on to, no, I can't actually, is it Briel? Briel is the name, I guess. I think I'm still standing in the inn, in Gallows and Tavern, and yes, this is Briel. Oh, actually, you see this these herbs here, so I'm not actually sure what the add-on is called. Maybe it says here somewhere. Okay, so I do have an add-on. I think it's called something like Gathering, or must be something like that. And what it does is every time I gather a herb, and the same actually happens for ore. Well, it might actually be this add-on cartographer. Might actually be this one. So I think it's this add-on. So what it does, whenever I gather a herb or gather an ore, it's actually put in this little icon, and it's so now I actually know that this is one of the spawn locations for a silver leaf. So, for example, if I'm searching for a silver leaf for my alchemy, which I don't have with me yet, I can open up the map and check where I've gathered a silver leaf before, because these spawn locations are somewhat fixed. Doesn't mean that when I go there that there is actually a silver leaf, because I mean there's still other people who might have gathered the herb before I actually reached that. So let's see what I got to do. So here I got these, so I can actually put this into practice right away. So you see my experiment, bank helper, I was actually able to return this. And I actually will just keep it in here. As you can see, it's 90 days left until, well, the message is returned. So actually this time I didn't really press the return button for bank helper, but instead I actually took it out and did a reply myself. The reason for that was checking this level 5 level. So usually I will just actually press the return button. But there's an expiration date time still on mail, so I still have to open or resend it a couple of times if I don't want to open them yet. Okay, so what else do I got actually? It's another add-on function, and I'm not sure how they're gonna apply this in Classic, because they said something in the restoring Classic WoW video. They said something on mail about convenient stuff, such as that you can just easier put stuff in there, etc. That they're going to, or might going to change a couple of things. So originally, for example, when you send a mail, you were only allowed to put one item in the slot, and I think currently it's about 7. So what does this add-on do? It actually kind of copies this function, although this was actually already around before this actually was introduced by Blizzard itself. So what I can do, I can just drag everything in. I can right click is also fine. Just put them all in. As you can see, the postage costs are actually going up. So what it's going to replicate is I actually going to send a separate mail for each of these items and including these items. So now I'm going to do bank helper. So now I will press send, and you will actually see me send over 6 meals. So it's actually gonna ask me for sure, and I think I'm not sure. No, it's not in yet. So you just see this meal sent over here. So it's actually now I've been sending 6 meals. Okay, so what's next? Oh yeah, and this also got this open all button. So when I got like multiple meals, I can just open all, and I think it will by default will just unpack every meal. Okay, so usually actually I sell these potions, but actually I think I don't know, I just felt like using it. So that's what I'm going to do. Going to check my spells, sorry, quests. Let's see what I can do. So I have to collect Doomweed. And where is this Doomweed? North of Brill. Graveyard near the Knolls. So that's over here. Yes. What's this one? Fall Pumpkins. So the rest. Oh, actually I've been there already. Wasn't that this one? Oh, just north of that. No, sorry. Where's that one? Let me just check. To the left, just north of that. Yeah, okay, so that's this one. No, that's even further. Is this one? Oh, this is the one with the Scarlet. So this is actually can be combined with probably this quest. So what do I do here? Bring 10 Scarlet. So this is also Scarlet. Crusade. This is the Gnolls again. So these are still orange. So I'm going to avoid them for now, because I can actually recall them, and actually this is, well, I think about level 10 or something, these mobs. 8 between 8 and 10. So it's actually still tricky, because I'm currently level 7. Okay, so let's get on with it. So where am I going first? I'm actually going... Gnolls are also I'm a little bit high. Yeah, so this is also a gnoll. Yeah. So I'm just going to the scars first. I'm not sure what this one is actually doing. It's the Murlocs. I think the Murlocs are all the way somewhere along the coast here. But they might also be there. Not 100% sure. So let's see. So this one I can actually just get out. So what's this one then? Scourge. Near the mills. Must be destroyed. Okay. So let's see. And to get the mills, there's the access crossing the bridge. Yeah, okay, so this one I'm just not going to do yet. So the Murlocs I have to check whether I can also find them all the way over there. I think the Scarlet's over here. At least the Scarlets that I'm looking for. Hopefully they are the correct ones, otherwise I'm just running around. Let's see, maybe traveling west, yeah. To the tower past the southern farmstead. Oh, so it's even, yeah, that's this one. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this guy actually belongs to us. That's good. Oh, a herb. Silver leaf. So this one I didn't have yet on the map. So now I'm grabbing this, and now you will see there's a silver leaf. Let's go there. And my guy really, or Dober, really needs to get a little bit more skill. And there's another one, so I'm just straight going for it. I think I mentioned it last time as well. You shouldn't really skip. Oh, there's actually lots of herbs here. You shouldn't skip too many herbs at the beginning. There's actually lots of herbs now. So what I think they actually done, or actually what they might have done, is actually also increase the spawn rates of these herbs. Oh, this bit is also aggressive. That wasn't supposed to happen. Okay, and they got this stun, which you need to be careful of. Okay, so I'm just going a little bit out of where we were actually heading. This is Scarlet Azeroth. So I hope I'm not pulling it. See if this is still far out of that. Okay. And there's another one. Let's see. Okay. Oh, that's a bunch of people. I guess they've just done the quests over here. Because these are definitely not the scars that I need. Yeah, oh. Okay, he's that poor guy. Maybe I can help out. Okay, now they're just running off. I got this. Too bad one of them died. So Curie Winston. Zombie 2.
I need to get closer.
Yay. 2 more levels to go to get my first talent points. Looking forward for it. So here again we get this wolf meat, and oh yeah, that's what we figured out last time. We figured out that there is no cook in Vril. We actually had to go to Undercity to get it. So actually, I could have gone there. Oh, let me see what's my skill. I don't think I'm able to hurt that, because I think it's 15. Skill of 15, let me just check to see if that's true. Okay, so now this is the funny thing. It's 15, but at least I created this now on the map, so I know that once I get to 15, no, actually I might get to 15 soon enough. It was 12. And I see 3 herbs, so if I just get all of these, I might actually be able to herb it. So let's get all these herbs. Oh, too bad. Did he just resist my corruption, apparently? Okay. Oh. Yeah, okay, let's say this way. Okay. So let's see if I get another skill. I guess I'm still orange. So I was thinking before this episode, I haven't really told anything about my experience with WoW. I mean, I've said a couple of things like I have leveled that kind of character, or not, like for example the warlock. I said I never really leveled a warlock, or anything. Okay, oops, don't get too after me. But I haven't really told anything about my life in regards to World of Warcraft. So I started back playing in 2005, and that was when the release was in the Netherlands, because I'm from the Netherlands. And I think I was about 12 years old, maybe 13. Let me just calculate it. Yeah, it must be 14 actually. So I was 14 years old, and that's when I entered the World of Warcraft for the first time. I created a Tauren Hunter, and to be fair, it was quite difficult because my English wasn't that great at the time. So half the quest, I couldn't even understand what the quest log was saying. So I was just doing whatever I thought I had to do. Later on, I started to use Dotbot a little bit more, but even then I didn't fully understand everything. That was quite a time ago. So yeah, then I leveled through Mulgar, which is half fun, in my opinion. Actually, one of the most beautiful areas. You had the nice silhouettes, because the view wasn't as great as now. So you had the silhouettes of Thunderbluff, which you could see from Bloodhound Village. And that was just brilliant. It just looked so immense, the world. It was the first time you had this experience. And after Mogo, of course, you go to the Barrens, and then you go to Durotar, and then you see the Ogre Bar for the first time. I mean, it's just insane. And that's especially why I'm just looking forward for Classic. Of course, I'm never going to have that experience again. I mean, this is a bit of nostalgia, which you can never experience again. But at least by playing these private servers and classic servers, at least you get some kind of feel that you are back in those days. That you are back, what is it, 14 years ago? And that just feels amazing. So, yeah, it actually took me quite some time to level in, because, like I said, my English wasn't that great, so I was struggling doing the quest, so I got killed by the harpies plenty of times. And then all of a sudden you had to go to the Barrens, and the first time you go to the Barrens, you actually get on the side of different parts, so you actually see those mobs with all those schools, because you can't see their levels yet. Because think they're like level 20 plus. Some were level 18. So at the moment you actually left Murloc, you could actually see them, but when you were just killing the harpies, you were only like level 8. And that was actually also the moment where I was doing way too hard quests usually for myself. So yeah, when I was around level 20, I actually was one of those crazy guys traveling all the way to Lakeshire, of Lakeshire, however you like to pronounce it, and went PvPing there with a Tower Hunter. It was incredible fun, even though I think I got killed more than I actually killed Alliance players. I mean, you're around level 20, so you're actually the same level as those leveling there. Oh, and the bastard is taking my... No, I wanted the skill. Because this is what happens in Classic. You can actually not shift click it and just click it once. You can actually still get the skill without picking up the herb. And same with ores actually. But to go back to my story. So I went there, ran out of ammo many times of course. Had to go back, swim again, all the way along Strangleton Fill up. And it was just brilliant. And that PvP instinct is still in me, so actually I do like playing this game, especially because of the PvP, which you will have either in the world or in battlegrounds, and especially in world, because you get the point, and that's why I like playing on PvP. So you get those moments where you're facing someone from the other faction, and often for some reason you find a way to just quest alongside each other without killing each other, but you're still keeping this distance, and because you still have this danger of actually your opponent attacking you, and that's just I like that tension. It's so brilliant. Okay, so let's continue with the story in the sense that beyond level 20, I leveled all the way up to 60, but back then I didn't have that much money, and I played together with my brother, so I had to share the playtime. And what we did back then, we played for 2 months, so we bought like a game card for 2 months, and then we didn't play for 2 months, and then we played for 2 months, and then we didn't play for 2 months. So it actually took me quite some time, but eventually I did reach 60 before the Burning Crusade was released. But yeah, because it was so close, I think I only did like upper Blackrock Spire and lower Blackrock Spire, so 60 times Blackrock Depths. I think I never even completed Blackrock Depths. Yeah, and I think I did them like 2 or 3 times back in the day. So yeah, then the Burning Crusade was released. I first left my hunter further up to 70. Of course, I created some minor alts, but they never really got high. Although I did have a rope twink, for example. But again, that's not really mention worthy. So during the Burning Crusade, I actually decided to play on Alliance, and that was because I knew someone from another game, Wolves and Enemy Territory. You might know that game, and he was playing Alliance, and I thought, maybe I should just join him. So I created a Knight of Druid, leveled it up, and I think around level 40 or 50 I think he quit playing, but I actually kept continuing, and so yeah, I kept going, and I'm not 100% sure when I did hit level 70, if it was right after or right before the release of Wrath of the Lich King. It could be right after actually. So yeah, I didn't really do any of the end game content on level 70. Of course, on level 80 I went back at some points, doing the Sunwell, etc. But I didn't experience it on level 70 myself. So in terms of the Burning Crusade, when I say something about the Burning Crusade, it's actually mainly referring to the leveling part. Of course, on my hunter I did a little bit of gathering and reputation quests on level 70, but it wasn't really anything big, especially because there was no raiding or dungeon that I particularly did. I didn't do any heroics, so I cannot really judge about the Burning Crusade in that regards. However, I did like the leveling area, and that was mainly because of Hellfire Peninsula. It was just brilliant. First time that you get there, that you see flying objects, and I think in zone-wise, the Burning Crusade was just maybe even better than Classic WoW. In the experience that I got, it was, yeah, comparable to the feeling I had when I first created my Tauren. and entered Murloc. So, as you can imagine, I just kept playing on my druid, so that's when my druid became my main character. And that's also where my name from this channel comes from, because my name was Druidja, and the AD actually stands for Argent Dawn, because I was in my character is of course still on the realm Argent Dawn, because I had never deleted it, so it's still there, but just inactive. Although after each expansion, when an expansion was released, I did buy it, and I just leveled up to the max level, and then I quit. So I actually played actively all the way till Cataclysm. So Cataclysm, I was also doing quite a bit of PvP, because again that was kind of my expertise. Of course, I also did some raiding, so I finished all the raids in time, or before they were actually nerfed too far. But I was just in a casual raiding guild, so it wasn't like we were on the edge of being realm first or whatever. And I actually have to figure out where I'm placing these images. Yeah, okay. Just checking if I had the right key binding. So, yeah, and during Cataclysm, I also managed to. Well, actually, it already started in Wrath of the Lich King. I started leveling a warrior, and continued with that during Cataclysm. So eventually, I actually ended up also with a mage actually, because my brother had I think a level 50 mage at some point, and I actually continued on that character when he quit playing, because I think he quit when Wrath of the Lich King was released. He wasn't playing anymore, so I thought, oh well, why should I not just level that character up and play on the mage? So eventually I actually ended up, I think my druid is now level 110, because I haven't played the last two expansions, so that must be Warlocks and Draenor, or is it Legion? Oh, Legion, actually, I think Legion is the last one that I played. So I just, again, just leveled it up as what I could, because the game just didn't satisfy me at all. Yeah, so I also leveled the Shaman to 85, and to 74 actually. That's a Horde version, because I also got to know someone else from a study who was playing Horde, so I figured I would just try on the Horde side, but never really maxed it, so that was just level 74. The Mage actually also got somewhere in between, because I played a little bit on Waters of Draenor, so he got 94. The Warrior, of course, like I said, 85. Yeah, and about apart from that, yeah, Paladin 64 or something, I believe. Because I just looked them up like yesterday or something, and that's why I recall the numbers somewhat exactly. So it's not like I got a brilliant brain just remembering everything from like 10 years ago, just so you know. But what maybe is mentioned worthy, that I actually found out that I did actually level up Warlock back in the day up to level 43, and that was during the Burning Crusade, because it was Blood Up. I'm pretty sure I didn't play on it after the Wrath of the Lich King was released. And the same actually with a priest. I actually leveled a priest during Classic, so that was besides my Tauren. However, it was actually human, so it's actually quite interesting. I can't even recall why I created a human back then. Might be just for a change, because I mean, Tauren and human is quite different, and also in playstyle, hunter or priest. Actually, let's be careful that I'm not dying here. It's actually close. I hope that these are actually dropping the things that I need. Let's see. Duvon didn't. Okay. So this one better drops a 5 in, because then for sure I know whether I'm killing the right mobs here. Okay, well, I'll just kill a few more and hopefully one will drop a 5 in, and if not, then these are probably the incorrect ones. Okay, so yeah, so I leveled actually quite a couple of characters. So the priest was alone, the Tauren hunter. Yeah, so what else did I do? Well, after well, even during Wrath of the King, I think I tried a couple of private servers in vanilla style. and also later on, but I was not really serious. However, after of course I quit playing when Mists of Pandaria was released, I did try a couple of private servers, and one of them was I believe Kronos. Those were actually where I left the Tavern Warrior all the way up to 60. So I actually managed to level 2 characters to 60 already in at least in a vanilla style setting. Of course, a private server is never an exact copy of the uh, classic experience is gonna be. Also not precisely what Blizzard released back in 2004. I mean, there's always minor bugs or stats deviations. So, for example, an item there's +1 stamina and 1 strength, and that might be that Blizzard actually has slightly different stats. It could be because of the patch version or anything like that. So, actually, even in this server, when I'm hovering over an item, and here I'm just picking a nice club. I'm actually choosing the ugly one. So when you hover over an item, it might actually be displayed incorrectly, because then I actually have to, I believe, delete the cache file and actually reopen reopen the game. And that has to do because I've been playing on different private servers, so at some point you load your cache on one private server and that might not be the same stats as on the other server. So there might be mistakes even while I'm playing right now. Okay, so there's gonna be challenging hours too. So yeah, and apart from that I leveled a dwarf priest up to level 50. And he is actually stationed somewhere in Tanarus now. And that's what's on the realm of Stone Elysium project. Oh, okay, I'm dying here. Come on, hit it. Hit it, aim, do it. Yes, thank you for getting aggro. Oh, as you might figure out, these are actually the right ones because I got 2 5-ins by now. And I leveled the Knight of Druid on vanilla style because I wanted the vanilla style experience actually of my Druid. As I said, I first started leveling during the Burning Crusade and shortly after Wrath of the Lich King, so I wanted to actually know what it was to be a Druid back in vanilla. And to be honest, I didn't like it as much as I hoped for, because in vanilla, shapeshifting is just way too expensive in the case of mana. Okay, so here I'm just, I hope that it's worth something. So I'm just keeping it for now. As you can see, my bags are already getting full, so I'll find an extra bag soon. So yeah, that's a bit about my play history. So I actually played quite a bit on vanilla style, so even though I only got one character to 60 during the actual time of Burning Crusade was released in 2007 or 2007? February? January? So I think in the first 2 years of World of Warcraft, even though I only got one character to 60, I did play quite a lot. I easily made sessions of like 6 hours back then. I mean, I was 14. Barely homework. So I had nothing else to do. At least that's how I felt back then. So yeah, that's basically what I did. Let's see. Okay, so as you also might figure out, these are the Scarlet Warriors. They are near the tower only. They were not on the farm. The farm was just the pumpkins. Yeah. Didn't hear that one coming. To the last couple of days. Ooh. I haven't played for Okay, this is red. I better run. I don't really feel like taking this risk here. Stop following me. Yeah, there we go. So the last couple of days I haven't played, but at least that gives me the advantage of having rested XP, because I noticed that I'm already going a level up again in just a couple of kills. So that's something awesome. Or at least I do like it. Taking a little bit of risk here. Oh, that were nice pens and another bag. Which really, I really like it. I need one more bag to be full on bags. Okay, so I wanted to come back on my dwarf priest actually, which I leveled on another private server, also classic style, all the way up to level 50. And I had this interesting conversation with another guy. He was a warrior, and I was talking a bit about the path of quest that you should take, all the way from 1 to 60. And well, was a bit exaggerated, but he claimed you should just do them all. So basically what he even did, he even went to all the starting zones and went through all the quests, all the starting quests, from Night Elf to Dwarf to Human and Noobs. So that was well, quite remarkable to read that he did that. That's not something I would actually do. But it did start a conversation which was interesting, because I think most of people actually know this conversation about what type of collect quest should you do. I mean, your quest can be grey, they can be green, they can be yellow, orange, or red. And that's just indicated on the comparison between what's the quest level, which is mainly based about the levels of the mobs, and your own level. So if you are doing quests which are, well, you are like level 8 and the quest is actually supposed to be for level 12, then it's most likely going to be orange or red, and vice versa for grey and green. So now you always have this debate, what is actually the best? And that's actually quite interesting, because I mean, Greys, for example, they still give XP for completion. However, the mobs they usually do not give XP. So often there might still be a green mob, but most of them are just grey. So killing for that quest is not rewarding any XP. So if you want to level as fast as possible, then Greys are not really advised for the way to go. And for green, this is slightly different. You get slightly, well, in relative terms, slightly less XP. I think in absolute value it's actually still the same. It's just because you are a little bit higher that the XP is relatively less towards the level XP that you need to level up. So if I, for example, I could actually go for green ones, then I would have to go to Duratar, for example, go to Razor Hill, or what's it called? Milgar, and then the Bloodhouse Town, and just do a couple of quests there. But as you can see, that's quite a travel. Because I mean, I'm already becoming a little bit high for them. Then you got the yellow quests. They give, well, I would say normal XP for both the quest and the mob. And then you got the orange and the red. Well, orange of course gives relatively slightly more, and the red even further in the amount of XP. However, the interesting thing though is that of course, as you can imagine, the odds of you dying is much higher for red quest. So in that regards, while you do get a little bit more XP, it's questionable if it's actually worthwhile taking the risk, because if you die, it's taking a lot more time to run back to your corpse, and all the time that you want to gain from just that little bit of extra XP, because I think the extra XP is sometimes not even, yeah, it's just, you can hardly see, for example, you get 4.2 or 4k, depending on whether it's, for example, orange to yellow. I'm just saying an example. It's just about killing one more mob and you get exactly the same XP. So that's always the thing that I think about orange and red quest. You take that risk of dying. For grey, I already explained. Grey is you only get XP for the handing in the quest, so it's not really advised to do that. So then there's still green and yellow that remain. Of course, orange you can still keep a little bit in the mix, but difference between green and yellow is a bit more subtle, because I think the most interesting part there is just, I mean, yellow, of course, you still have this little bit higher chance of dying compared to green, because green mobs, because they're below you, they have a high chance, I think, of dodging, that you dodge them actually, etc., and that you get critical hits on them. If I'm 100% correct, I mean, I'm not expert in these kind of exact details, but I think all these things do take into account. And okay, this is straight. Maybe we should run. Just kill one. This one. Okay, no. Okay, fucked up. That wasn't supposed to happen. I wanted to land on that ridge, but at least I got this one mob. Yep. Okay, so hopefully outside I can continue. Let's see. And chop. There's still. Okay, so the difference between green and yellow. What I think is the most interesting about this green is that green actually. I'm gonna run. I cannot focus enough while talking. Okay, so as I said, it's a little bit more subtle, because I think the advantage of green ones is not per se the odds of dying, but also the speed of killing them. So a green mob, usually you just kill them way quicker, because like I said, you might actually have a higher chance of hitting them, if I'm correct, and that kind of thing. So they actually do more damage. So they actually do less damage to you, you do more damage to them, and the XP difference between green and yellow, in my opinion, is quite minor. And even further reasoning is that what most people run into back in the day, of course, people now read the internet, get a little bit more information, but what usually happens is that people run out of quests at some point. They've done all the yellow, orange and red ones and skipped the greens, or just left them, and at some point they became grey and they just deleted it. And then they figure out that they run out of quests, and I think that happened on my druid on the other private server, the same as the dwarf priest. So a dwarf priest I left second, so I was already paying attention to it. For example, if you take the human area, if you go to the human area, you take Elven Forest, Westfall, Redbridge, Desperate, and then go straight into String of Northdale, you will run into trouble. You'll probably have too few quests left at some point, or the quests are relatively high, so you only got like red quests left. And on my priest I managed it quite well by just going just the additional luck mode on, and well, that's why I did some additional quests, and just taking a little bit more time to go to wetlands as well to do a few quests. And that's also what I'm going to do on this character. And in addition, I must say it's actually also a little bit more fun actually. Not per se by avoiding the challenge, of course, because I mean, yellow quests are also nice because you get this little more challenging aspect of actually fulfilling a quest. But I must say it's just nice to travel a little bit more around the world, because if you're going for the green quests all the time, you will have to switch areas. So that's a little bit of a downside with regards to the speed of leveling. Like I said, an advantage is that you kill quicker, but on the other hand, if you only want to go for green, you will have to travel probably a little bit more. But at least you're also avoiding running out of quests. So, and I think that's the major point. There's nothing more annoying than if you run out of quests, or at least that you really have to search for them, or that you have quests but they're all way too high or way too low, in the sense that they're just grey. So yeah, it's really important to think about this path and how to deal with it. So I've actually been thinking about, well, before I actually started this episode, I was thinking about, well, maybe I should just go Razor Hill a bit and then do like 2-3 quests there and then go back. But I didn't want to waste too much time on the running at the moment, and I don't think it's necessary this early on. However, I think it does become interesting in the next part. So whenever I leave Tirisfal Glades, it does become interesting to see how I'm going to balance the Barrens and Silverpine Forest. I think you have to do a little bit of both, and then, well, maybe complete them even both, but at least try to do a little bit of one, then switch back to the other, and then go back. And the advantage of the Barrens, of course, even though it only has like 2 flight points, at least it does have 3 flight points actually. I'm forgetting Wretched. It has 3 flight points, so you do have quite some possibilities to travel there rather quickly, especially when you get this nice zeppelin between the city and Orgrimmar. So these are some nice things. So yeah, that's something that I have to think about. What kind of path am I going to take in this regard? And so yeah, that's going to be interesting. If you got any advice for me about this, so if you think, well, because I haven't played Horde in quite a while, so I'm not really familiar with the green and the yellow quests in the Horde side, in the sense that I might have a little bit more trouble to manage it well, that you get the right quest completed at the right time. Whereas for Lions, I just perfectly gave the example. I'm quite familiar with it, so I know how to do it. But for it might be a little bit different. So if you got any advice there, just put them in the comments, and I would gladly read them. At the same time, I'm all saying all these things, but even though I'm of course aiming to finish this series before the launch of Classic, it's not like I'm going to focus on the most efficient and quest path or whatever. I mean, if it just takes it 1 day extra compared to taking the most efficient way, I don't care really. I also just want to have fun, and that might have to do with the fact that I don't have that much time to play. So when I play, I just want to have fun and not be bothered too much about the stress of having to level as quick as possible, etc, etc. So, oh, I don't need any more fins. I'm not sure why I'm attacking these Murlocs. I completely forgot that I already finished it. Oh, luckily it's just dying quickly. Let's focus on the Scarlet again. 2 more rings.
I need a target.
Yeah, go, imp. Oh, never mind, he got it. Okay, so I'm just going slightly more. Let's see. No more spawns. Where are you, Scarlet? I need you. Need your rings. Damn bastards. Maybe there are some down the road here. Because on the farm, those are not the ones I need, but maybe they are on the road patrolling. Oh, there's one. So actually, it seems. Oh, and actually recall, they actually go all the way up to the crossing there. Because I think the first time I leveled an undead, I actually followed the road, and then behind the barn all of a sudden there was this spotted warrior that just messed with me. So I came from at this fork, I came from the right, and I Oh, that's nice. Just before the mage. Poor mage. Oops. That was not supposed to happen, that curse. Oh well. One more ring. The sad weather enters for glades. Okay, so this one. So now I'm just tapping in that hope that I actually get some mob upstairs, but seems like they haven't respawned yet. But let's just wait on top. Oh, okay. That sounds as if... Okay, there's only two of them, so that's a good thing. Why didn't you attack him? He was too late, I think. But anyways, I got my rings, so I can just leave now. So that's helping with a little bit of damage. There we go. Okay, so Doomweed it is. That's actually the lowest level quest that I've got. Let's see, my playtime is I think terrible. Okay, it's not too bad. Usually it takes me around 2.5 hours to be level 10. So I'm like 3/4 of a level behind in terms of speed. And that's actually not too bad, because I mean, I've been chatting with you a couple of minutes. I mean, it's not too much, but still. And usually I take skinning rather than herbalism, so you don't have to actually run around, you can just go wherever you want, and whatever you kill, you skin. That also saves up a lot of time. Okay. So what path am I going to take? I can just go like that. I might actually be able to kill a little bit of quest mobs over there as well. There's these 2 quests or 3 quests, because I think actually there's a follow-up. Oh, herb. Never mind, I'm going for the herb. I want that herb. Okay. So this is something you cannot see, of course. Just realized that. So what I often do is, so I was actually sending my pet towards the mob, and while I run past it, I knew that I wanted to loot it at the end. So, for example, let me just show it here. So now I'll just keep my camera back. So actually I wanted to keep running. Often I just call my pet just to follow me for a couple of seconds and then attack again. So at least the mob gets a little bit closer. Makes it easier for me to loot afterwards. Of course not because of this example. The mob is going after me anyways in the end. That's not supposed to happen. And especially once I get my Void Walker, that will change. But it's just a small tricks to reduce the distance between you and the mob that you want to loot. There we go, more herbs. And even more herbs. Peace bloom, peace bloom, peace bloom. Peace bloom. Here's one. Wicked is good. Okay, he's also gathering herbs. You gotta hurry. But still, be careful. So here again, I'm just putting it on follow my imp. At least I hope he's also doing it. Cool. Okay, I actually have to kill that one first. Because there is a dark hound waiting behind that silver leaf. Oh, my bag's actually full. I can actually wear that. And I can wear that. And this I cannot wear. Oh, actually I got health potions. Let's put it there. For fun's sake. Okay. Okay, so this is exactly what I just wanted to say. I'm going a bit along the hills. So that I hopefully will see some efforts. Because they are a little bit rarer than the other ones. I think it's up the hill there.
I need to get closer.
Oh, the damn bastard.
I need to get closer.
Okay, so the eggs are actually dropping this one. I think the doomies and those are on the same spot. Okay, so that's another earth root, so I want to get that. Okay, I'm not going to jump off here. That would mean a certain death. Let's see if I can go down here. So these are actually those. Did I need to slate? So let's kill them. Okay, so my bag is full, so let's see what's worth like nothing. So maybe this is not worth anything. Okay, so that's strange. Apparently it wasn't deleted. This is the quest item that I need, so this is worth nothing. I think the tooth is actually worth something. The apple's clearly worth nothing. Okay, so the doom weight is here as well. Is he looting? No, he's not looting the earth root. I'm just getting the earth root first. Okay, so he's just gonna loot all that. Yeah. Damn bastard. So where's the other one? There it is. So the troll hunter all the way over here. It's a bit out of the way, but I'm still getting it. Okay, so this is kind of the advantage that I have. Because I got a herbalism, I can just track them. Well, he actually has to run around the trees, as you could see, to find out where the doom meats are. I need to slay mongrels. I think they're only over there. But I think up there there's no doomweed. Okay, I think he's got it first, yeah. I'm going back to the graves. I think there's a lot more there. Oh. Okay, apparently there's two over there. Is there even three? There's a third one. Cool. Gotta be careful on that hill then. Better not go there. There's still tons of people in this area. Wow, another hunter over here. Although this time it is an orc. They either grew bored of Durotar, or it implies that Durotar is even more populated than it's over here. So I saw a yellow dot there. Let's see. Ah, number mage. I just got it. Another one. Oh no. Yeah, he's got it. He spotted it. Still going for it because he's slower. Might be lag. Who knows? I can just try. Too bad. Let's go for the mongrels first then. Maybe they even grow here as well. I don't know. Thought they were only near the grave, but I'm not sure. Yeah. I think this one's actually the one in the house over there, at the end of the farm. There. Don't need it. No, he's got it. So this is a mongrel. Okay, yeah, so there's lots of people. Okay. Hopefully one of them. Yeah, thank you. This is what I hope for. So now I should be able to loot it. And there goes the item. Thank you.
Gee, thanks.
Because earth root, that's the one I want. Let's go. Yeah, so this won't do anything. My herbalism is actually going quite well so far. So the aim actually that you should have is an increase of your skill of 5 per level. Now this doesn't seem a lot, but and it actually isn't. However, okay, so that's up there. I'm not going to get there. At least I think I'm going up there. So for gather skills, that usually isn't too much of a trouble. Although on unpopulated servers it can be annoying. But the thing is that you need so many herbs for alchemy as well. And actually more than just getting those 5 skills in herbalism. Since it's not going to give you enough herbs to actually make sure that you also level your alchemy to the right level. So, and it is going to be hard to actually keep up with the alchemy at some point. Okay, so that's another one. I need 2 more dumb weeks, and I need. What do I need? There, that's one. 2 more mongrels. So I actually should go. So that. It's got one selected. Where is it? Where is it? It's there. Ah, it's that. Was worth a try. Worth a try. Okay, there's just too few mongrels. Okay. Maybe inside the barn? Did anyone check? No, the tab is not showing anything. Not revealing. Okay. So where am I getting those last few? Ah, come on. Just give me. Thank you. Hopefully it still counts as my kill. I doubt it, but let's see. Ah, it actually does. Oh, do it. Do it. Okay, he spotted one. Yeah, good. So I'm not going to dead up because he's just going to die. Just soon for that. Okay. Yes.
Appreciated.
Okay, so I'm done.
Stay optimistic.
Okay, well, okay, let's... Okay, so I need one more doomweed, it's there, and oh, that's lovely. So for quest purpose I should actually get that one first. And he doesn't notice. Okay, and now I can get the normal herb. Oh, actually I need one more. What's that as well? So I got my doomweed. So that's Everett, which I'm going for. Okay, that's more people going for it. I don't think oh, they're just running past. Okay, that's just a coincidence that they went this way. Okay, so I need to kill more rot heights. Just for the last icon, let's get going. Okay, he's gonna kill one of them, I will just aid the other one, just help him. Okay, maybe I should go the other way around. There's the dead on the other one. not really paying attention there. They're already a little bit lower than I expected. Okay. So... Oh. Okay, so this one is still left. But that is not of my concern right away. I guess I'm just going to hand in these quests first, and I think this is suitable length for an episode. I'm not sure for how long I've played, but it must be about an hour or something, an hour and 15 minutes or something. So I'm just going to hand in these quests, and actually I think I will get one level up right before I'm logging off. I'm just going to leave that silver leaf for now. Okay. So actually, what I want to do, I always prefer to turn in the green one first, because I often had this situation where I turn in a yellow quest, I dinged, and then the green one became grey. And that's terrible. So yes, this is the green one, the Doomweed. And because I got this level, I can actually go even one step further. I know, for example, if I turn these quests down there, if I had them completed, it could actually imply that I would ding up and they become green. So I'm actually not 100% sure which one was lower of the two. I think this one is low. And oh, let's move. Okay, so that's
Victory for some others.
oh, actually, this is a follow-up. Apparently there's a follow-up. Okay, let's see. So
I am forsaken.
that one I should leave for a second. So I need to actually do the... Yeah, so this one's also a low one. This one's worth the most. Oh, right back. Okay.
What now?
Yeah, so there we go. So now this one's actually turning green, so I should have actually... I just told you how I should do it, and I'm still doing it incorrectly. That's not really showing a proper example. Okay. Oh, that's actually powerful. I think I have to go to the cellars. And then feed the pumpkin, wasn't it?
This had better be good.
Okay, maybe I'm doing this incorrect. Oh yeah, this is the captured seal, but I just have to wait till it respawns. And nah, well then just turn in this one as well. Since I already went up, and actually I can cross a couple of these. Oh, I could actually have done this right in front of the respawn location. Maybe that's actually better. Sitting in the quest. Oh. What's that?
What is it?
I got another quest down there. Oh. What's this one? Probably.
Speak quickly. Our time will come.
Okay. So this one is for sale, this is a quest item, this is a quest item. And this one's actually getting removed soon. I'm just going to sell, even though it is a nice thing to use. But my bags get full already. I'm sending this to the bank. What I should do apparently first is add them to bank. Okay. Because now, if I type in B, it just gets there. And I can get this one, that one, that one, that one. And this one gets sell. This might sell. And there we go. Okay, so what do I have to do now? Oh, actually, this was something I forgot. If you close this panel, it actually doesn't continue creating the stuff that you're creating. Okay, so this can be sold, this can be sold, this can be sold. So I'm just keeping this one. This I'm actually using right now, so let's see what happens. And there's also a quest item apparently. So this is getting to 20. I'm going to send us 20, and the new ones are going in there. So I'll still keep a couple of bandages. Okay. And I think at skill level 40 I get the next bandage type. So I'm in the unlucky position of hitting 39. Okay, there's no vendor. Is this one?
Hello.
Yes. Did I actually put this one already? I'm not even sure. I think I did, but just to be sure. Okay, so I think this is it. Let me just check this one actually. This is it for this episode. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Then I will just do the last quest, fill in my talent point, and we will complete Tears for Glade most likely next time. So then we got this whole area done. I got still a few quests left, all the way going to the east. So as you can see, it's just quite some quests left. And then I will have to see if I actually have to make any adjustments in the way that I go. As I explained earlier, whether I want to aim for a green quest or a yellow quest. So, yes, once more, thank you for watching, and hopefully I will see you again in episode 4. So, bye bye.